So they announced a new Black Panther movie at San Diego Comic-Con, and Ryan Gosling is joining the MCU. And no, they're not the same thing. They're not the same movie. They're going to do Black Panther's son, I guess, in a Black Panther 3. We've got Ryan Gosling coming as Ghost Rider. They had a better trailer, admittedly, a better trailer for Doomsday, and Ryan Reynolds was trolling everyone as Deadpool. And that's basically it. It wasn't really phenomenal. I mean, I think they're kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with Marvel after Doomsday. Now, we already know Spider-Man's coming out this weekend. Yeah, this weekend is going to be a huge hit, I'm sure. Ticket sales are very, very good. We tried to get a seat. We got a seat, but a lot of the theaters around us were filling up. So I think it's going to have a huge opening, right? But that's Spider-Man. The rest of Marvel, not so sure about. But we're going to talk about it. Just kind of, I'm going to be honest, it's kind of underwhelming. But I feel like with Marvel at this point, they're kind of on probation with a lot of people to see if they can course correct. And I think Doomsday is going to be a big one for them. A big litmus test, not just the box office, but like, can they fix Marvel? And that's something The Wrap, and this is an industry publication. They're flat out saying Marvel is broken. There's no excitement around Marvel, and can they survive? And they're actually calling Marvel a legacy brand at this point. I mean, that's kind of scary, right? But I guess it kind of is. I mean, Iron Man came out, 2008? So we're going to talk about this. Geeky's sitting this one out. She does not care enough to even sit in on a Marvel video. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to more, more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com for more Clownfish TV podcasts and videos you will not find anywhere else. Also, check out our audio version on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts. We are there. Thank you very much for that. So let's take a look at this. It's coming from The Wrap. It said, Avengers Doomsday lit up Comic-Con. Is it enough to save Marvel? They said, fans inside legendary Hall H loved what the MCU brought. Having that excitement travel outside is the real challenge. Yeah, this happens a lot where the super fans are super excited. And then, and this happened with The Mandalorian, right? And then once the general audience, takes a look at it, the general audience decides whether or not a movie performs. I was thinking about this the other day with The Odyssey. I'm actually glad The Odyssey is doing so well. And I'll tell you why I'm glad The Odyssey is doing so well. I haven't seen it. I'm not interested in it. I'm actually bored by the whole conversation around it. But YouTubers were being blamed. If it had bombed at the box office because of the trolling of the socials for Universal and the backlash to the casting, if it had bombed, the narrative would have been like, YouTubers destroyed this movie. Now they're out there gloating, being like, YouTubers have no say over whether or not a movie performs at the box office. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. So the next time a Star Wars movie flops or a Supergirl flops, don't blame us. It is always, always, always average Joes and Janes, normal people, normies who go see movies that decide whether or not the movie lives or dies. And that's who they have to convince. You've got your Marvel super fans. You've definitely got your DC super fans. They're going to go see anything with that logo on it, and they are rabid. What about everybody else? And that is the question. Wasn't enough. And I'm like, I don't know. But this is actually a pretty good take from The Wrap. They said the Avengers are facing a foe more daunting than Thanos, audience fatigue. All three of Marvel's 2025 movies underperformed at the box office, with would-be franchise starters Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four failing to muster enthusiasm that other Marvels did in the 2010s. Gosh, I sure hope that the next phase of the MCU isn't depending heavily on the Thunderbolts and the Fantastic Four. Boy, that'd be stupid, wouldn't it? The superhero genre belongs to millennials, with obsession and backrooms dominating Gen Z interest. As a result, these films are no longer the sure financial bets they once were, and Marvel Studios recognizes it can no longer take its fans or the general audience for granted. I think we are starting to realize now that normies rule the world. Like, normal everyday people decide what lives and what dies. The reality is that the MCU is no longer the unstoppable force it once was, an industry insider told The Wrap. It has become a legacy franchise that occasionally generates flashes of excitement, but no longer commands the cultural dominance it enjoyed for over a decade. See also Star Wars. Like, if you weren't there for Star Wars, now I was younger than a lot of first gen Star Wars fans, but I even remember Star Wars being everywhere on everything. And my first memories of Star Wars were actually kind of fuzzy, but like Empire Strikes Back and especially Return of the Jedi. I was not aware of Star Wars as a wee tot, I think, when the first movie came out. But I mean, we're talking cultural relevance and just fading into irrelevance. And that would be Star Wars. And Marvel's kind of headed down the same path right now. Right. And again, you're going to have Spider-Man movies that perform. Always. Just like DC, you could flush the entire DCU as long as you put a Batman movie out every once in a while, people are going to go see it. It's going to make $1 billion because it's Batman. The marketing's been done. Spider-Man, the marketing's been done, right? The industry insider added that Doomsday will likely cross $1 billion at the box office, but is unlikely to challenge Infinity War or Endgame. That's what I think is going to happen, which each grossed over $2 billion and marked seminal moments for the film industry. Very fitting that it was Endgame, right? And here's the thing too, depending on how expensive the movie is, it can still be considered kind of a flop or at least an underperformer because the Avatar movies, the last Avatar made like $1.5 billion, which is insane, but it also costs an insane amount of money to make. And James Cameron's even like, I don't know if they're going to let me do a 4 and a 5. Because it didn't make enough. I mean, it's crazy. You look at the profit margins on these movies when they cost so damn much. And honestly, Endgame was so damn expensive that I think the only way it could have been profitable is to make over $1 billion or $1.5 billion. Now, I don't know what Doomsday is going to cost. People are saying it's actually the most expensive movie ever. Judging by the trailer, I'm not seeing it. But to be fair, the Comic-Con trailer, from what I saw of it, is much, much better. And that's the one I think they're probably going to run before Spider-Man, I'm thinking. And it's much, much better. They were definitely hiding a lot. And I think that things would have gone a lot better for them had they shown that trailer. Anyway, the article said the sentiment is not unique to this insider, which is why Marvel's Saturday Hall H panel had more pressure than in years past. When Comic-Con was more like a victory lap, this time, Marvel came to sell. From the Hall H stage, with his usual mix of charm and playfulness, Kevin Feige announced 2 films for 2028, a Ryan Gosling-led Ghost Rider, and a third Ryan Coogler-directed Black Panther. So now we've got T'Challa's son. So Black Panther is weird in the fact that we only had Black Panther in the first movie. Yeah, it's kind of like, again, this reminds me of the Hogan family, a.k.a. Valerie's family, aka Valerie. Valerie was only in the first season, and then there was you guys can look into it. Sandy Duncan was in the show a lot longer than Valerie was. They killed her off because she wanted too much money. And R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. I mean, he was legendary. I would not want to replace T'Challa, at least not recast him. I understand why they haven't. The only way they could probably do it is if they reset the universe. But yeah, this guy looks pretty old. Like, how old was T'Challa when he had this kid? Anyway, so the rest of the night focused on Doomsday, and they had a lot of Doom-centric footage. The crowd offered up a viral hour-long wall. Oh, a virtual. I thought a virtual hour-long wall of cheers, the norm as far as Marvel goes. Yeah, they cheered for Fantastic Four, too, and that didn't go as well as they were hoping. I liked it, but normies didn't care. While it wasn't a flawless presentation, it enraptured the fans in the room. It felt like a lot was riding on this. Marvel brought the best they had at the moment, and it largely landed, said comic book artist and illustrator Mark Alvarado. Avengers showed a better look. Yeah, the Avengers actually the trailer did look better. Black Panther is kind of like weird, but they said the thing is, does the excitement leave the room? That's the question. Marvel's most ardent fans continue to show up for each new chapter of its ever-extending cinematic universe. More than ever, Marvel needs Doomsday to land for moviegoers beyond the diehards who camped out for the Saturday night panel. The film is already off to a good start, selling $16 million in way in advance tickets for opening night shows. A film as big as this needs a sustained box office on the second, third, and fourth weekend, something that MCU has struggled with. Yeah, what happens with these movies, these superhero movies, is that, you know, people go opening weekend, has a huge weekend, they brag about the numbers, and then there's like a massive drop off because all the people that wanted to see it went to see it. Now, again, in the case of the Odyssey, I think that one's holding out because people are going to go see it in IMAX, and it's kind of what worked with the first Avatar movie was people watched it in 3D. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're talking Ghost Rider. We're talking, you know, like, what are they doing on this show? A Vision Quest. I guess we're doing Vision Quest. But this is interesting. Feige said he's going to focus on quality now, and they're not going to have any Marvel movies between Doomsday and Secret Wars, unlike previous years where they always had like 2 or 3 movies shoehorned in there. But this is so they're talking about Gen Z, and this is a 21-year-old. And she was there, Bianca. She said the oversaturation of Marvel TV shows, too much IP everywhere from Marvel, too many collabs happening in the movies and the TV shows. You have to watch a TV show just to watch a movie. It's just too much. So she said, yeah, it's crazy. She said, Bianca said she likes seeing cinematic events like Dune and Dolby and is waiting to see the Odyssey when she can get tickets to an IMAX, a real IMAX. To an IMAX theater. Yeah, people will go for events, and that's Geeky and I talk about that. Like, they have to have a reason to go to the theater. And it's either got to be like, oh my God, this is, you know, kind of a communal experience we have to have. We saw this with a lot of, like, our kids, especially when the first Five Nights at Freddy's came out and Minecraft came out. That was a big deal. The Odyssey, for a lot of people, again, I do not give a shit one way or the other, but, you know, good for you if you liked it. And a lot of people wanted to go see it in IMAX, right? So, and same with Avatar. Like, I don't really like the Avatar movies. The visuals are cool, but a lot of people want that experience because they want to see it in 3D or whatever on the big screen or IMAX or whatever. And, you know, movies like Supergirl and Masters of the Universe didn't perform, not because they're terrible, terrible movies. Supergirl was very, very mid. It wasn't the worst thing ever, but it was very mid. But it felt like a CW show in places. It felt like something you watch on HBO on a Saturday afternoon. And guess what? Now you can. I think it's already dumped on streaming. I don't know. But, you know, Masters of the Universe, it's a very niche thing. And a lot of people are like, I don't know if I'm going to pay $20 to go see He-Man. You know, it's like, I don't know. I'm going to save my money for Spider-Man. It was a very crowded summer, right? But this is really interesting. They're even like, all the Gen Zs are like, yeah, we're only going to go to the theater for the good stuff. We're not going to watch the crap. But here's what was announced. So none of it, from my point of view, was exciting. Obviously, Doomsday, Black Panther's son. Should be like, is that like son of the Pink Panther, son of the Black Panther? Doomsday. Ghost Rider, Doom Maxing. Oh my God. Is that it? And then we had some shows and some, yeah. I mean, are you excited? I'm not really excited. I get what they're saying. Like, it's just very hit or miss. Doomsday, I will tell you, if the first trailer I saw was the, oh, here we go. 15 more images. Okay. So yeah, Spider-Man's going to make ridiculous money. Avengers, Vision Quest. I actually am interested in this. Vision Quest, the Vision Quest storyline was my first Avengers comic storyline that I picked up back in the, was it like 88, 89, whenever they did it. And, yeah, and Vision, the White Vision was actually pretty cool because he was in the video game. And as a kid, I used to go play the Avengers arcade game, and he was in that. And then we kind of forgot about White Vision. So I'm interested in that. More Daredevil Born Again. Should it be like Daredevil Born Again. I haven't watched this one. I love the original Daredevil. I saw a little bit of it and I'm like, it doesn't feel the same. I just don't care. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I can't even sit here and like shit on everything and be like, it's all terrible, guys. Everything sucks. I'm burnt out on a lot of this stuff, and I'm pickier about what I watch. And honestly, it does feel like going back to the well again and again and again, same things over and over again, just not as good as they used to be. And, you know, at some point people just move on, right? I mean, again, to bring it back to Star Wars was the biggest thing out there. Like, it was freaking amazing. And now it just has no cultural relevancy. At least the new stuff doesn't. And I think Marvel's going to be the same way. I think people are always going to think back fondly to Endgame, going to see Endgame with their friends when they were teenagers or whatever. And they'll remember, like, hey, remember when we camped out to go see Avengers and it was awesome and we all did cosplay and all that stuff. And, you know, you're always going to have those memories. But I think a lot of people are just moving on. And it happens. I mean, this is the thing. Pop culture changes. It does. And I think in some ways we haven't allowed it to change. We want it to be like, you know, frozen at a certain point in time. Like, why are we not still watching cowboy movies or musicals like we used to? Why aren't we watching, you know, the gritty kinds of movies they made in the 70s? Why are we not watching, you know, all the teen comedies and stuff from the 80s and 90s that much anymore? Because people's tastes have changed. So we'll see. I think Doomsday is going to do really good. I think Spider-Man is going to do incredible. And after that, I have no idea. I like Ryan Gosling. I think he'd make a fantastic Johnny Blaze, but we'll see if people care. We'll see if people still care. Gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.